The winner of the 2011 Telstra Australian Businesswoman of the Year is Catherine Byrne.
I'm not sure how this has happened, but Kate just said to me next year she's going to make sure she gets me into a frock. I was not going to actually wear this tonight, but I didn't get time to get changed, so, you know, I might have worn a frock. I think there's a couple of things that I'd very much like to say, apart from how honoured and humbled I am, especially hearing that wonderful speech from the former Telstra businesswoman. It's just fantastic. I think I would like to spend a little bit of time talking about policing. Policing is a really complicated business. It's a part of law enforcement, and it's a part of law enforcement that I don't think a lot of people understand in terms of the nature of the business it is. I guess there's two parts of it. It's the part that we generally see, the visibility, the police officer on the street, or the car, or the random breath testing, or the response to some emergency or disaster situation like today. And that's the face of policing that you all see and that we see, and that's throughout every state and territory. The other side of policing is something that I've become familiar with in the last 2 years in my current role as the Deputy Commissioner of Corporate Services, and that is the business side of policing. I never actually really understood this myself, even though I had been in the police for 25 years at that stage, about how big a business policing is. And I think it's worth going through some of the information. We have a $2.7 billion budget. A lot of that is salary related, but it's still a huge budget, and it just shows the size of the business. We have just under 20,000 employees, and 16,000 of those are sworn officers. So that means these officers have powers and responsibilities, unlike most other people in our community. These people carry firearms, and they have to know how to use them, when to use them, and all the things that go with such responsibility. So it is not just a normal workforce. It's a completely different workforce to have to manage and ensure that we get it right. We also have an enormous fleet. We have just under 4,000 vehicles. We turn over about 2,000 of these vehicles a year. Obviously, that's because we have our cars, our marked cars on the road as much as we possibly can, for a whole host of reasons, but predominantly to reduce road toll. So we contribute just under $100 million a year to the motor industry in the car turnover market that we have. And not only do we have cars in our fleet, but we have helicopters, we have fixed-wing aircraft, we have radio towers as well in parts of our infrastructure. We have a capital budget of about $170 million, which is predominantly for our property portfolio, which consists of about 1,400 properties, and half of those are residences that we also have to look after. And it goes on and on and on. And this is what I found was my responsibility when I came to corporate services. Something very foreign to me as a police officer. And I told this story in New South Wales, but it's a story that's worth telling because 2 years ago I was the region commander, Central Metropolitan Region, and I had been there for a while, and pretty much that was the job that I wanted to have, and I wanted to stay there, and I loved it. That meant I was the police commander for the whole of Sydney Metropolitan. I was the commander in the operations centre for New Year's Eve, for 3 New Year's Eves in a row, where we deploy just under 4,000 police to a night to make sure that the millions of people that come into Sydney are kept safe and secure, and all those sorts of things. And I'd been an operational police officer all my career. I got a phone call from the Commissioner's office to say the Commissioner wanted to see me the next day. And as I say, that's not a really good thing at all. That's not great. My motto is stay away from the Commissioner's office. Well, it was then. I went home that day, and my partner Peter, who's here, he can verify this. I said to him, because I knew that there was a little bit of movement with staff, I actually said to him, you know, the worst thing that can happen to me tomorrow is that the Commissioner tells me he's going to move me to corporate services. And so I went to his office and he said, "Catherine, I'm moving you to corporate services." And he was quite shocked at my reaction and my expression, and I think he's still a bit shocked. But he had the foresight, I guess, and the confidence to say, "I think that you can go there and do it." I didn't really have the confidence. I was more confident running a major emergency operation or managing New Year's Eve or all those sorts of things than actually running the business side of policing. Yet I now find myself having done that, and now I find myself here. And it's a part, I guess, of my journey, my career, in terms of getting to know a business. And it's given me so much more confidence. And I know some of the other people who've been up here have mentioned confidence and how important that is. I think the other really important thing about this is the impact on women, not only women generally, but women in policing. Again, and to me, there's three areas. There's women in the New South Wales Police and other policing jurisdictions in Australia, those women who are already in the police. It's a great encouragement, I think, for those women to know that they can move up the ranks, they can move on, they can do a diverse role within the police force. And I think that that's very much needed, because although we have representation at the lower levels of management, we don't have a lot of representation at the higher levels of management or the executive. And unfortunately, that's the same in all the jurisdictions. So if this award gives me the opportunity to encourage people, women, in all states and territories to take that step and to gain that confidence, I think that that will be absolutely fabulous. I think the other thing is that women who might be thinking about joining the police, it is an unusual profession still for women. It is still a male-dominated environment. However, I hope that this award and what I might be able to do, especially in the next year, might encourage really talented people to join the police and know that it's actually a fantastic job. I reckon the best one that is around. It's diverse, and there's also a business side of it. And I think the third very important thing is about women in our community, whether they be victims of crime or just women generally in our community. I hope that this is an opportunity for me to really provide a level of conversation, I guess, and confidence in women that we do understand the nature of women, especially women who are victims, unfortunately, of domestic violence, and that we are doing everything that we can, and we're totally dedicated and want to make sure that we can do something and make some difference there. And if this award enables me to do all those sorts of things, then I think that it's a fantastic award. Just in finishing, very much would like to acknowledge Telstra and all the sponsors, but Telstra, I think... well, there's one. I think that the fact that Telstra is still here and is promoting this, has the genuine belief in identifying, I guess, this fantastic, talented women, supporting and promoting women, and still Telstra still here as a sponsor is fantastic. And if it wasn't for Telstra and the sponsors, we wouldn't be here with this wonderful opportunity and this wonderful network that it now gives us, and the provision. So I really do thank Telstra, and I think that that's a wonderful thing. And I again just would like to mention my wonderful family, of course Peter and my mother who is here, and my father who isn't here but who is in Yass. Of course, very defining people and wonderful people. And I guess just to finish up, there's a couple of things. I think the first thing that can't go unsaid, and I hate to do state against state and territory, but New South Wales has really blitzed it, I must say. But sorry, I just had to say that. And the second thing, just on a note when I finish, a lot of people have been mentioning to me, "Oh, you've had a pretty full day, and it's been a pretty big day," and etc. And yeah, it has been, but that's my job, and that's what I do, and these days happen. But, you know, compared to the day that, unfortunately, a lot of other people have had, I haven't had a bad day at all. And on that note, I would like to say thank you again and have a good evening.